forget what I was trying to say. I no longer do what I was gonna do, but you're no good for me. That's why me know set me if it could flee. Me have to take away me say. Me have to take away me say. Me have to hide like a thief in the night. Me have to get out of sight. Me have to take away myself. I have to take away myself. I have to utilize I wings. Surely I cleave where I eat. I said, yeah. I find you very hard to resist. But this relationship I'm gonna desist. But how can I face you?
Greetings, kings and queens. Welcome to another Real Stuff podcast. Today is Friday, and if it's Friday, it's Poetry Corner on the Real Stuff podcast this morning. Our special guest this morning will be the Gilkes brothers out of Barbados, and they will be our Poetry Corner guests. I got Flavius here with me. Max Wanet is joining us by Zoom this morning, and Francine is running some errand, so we're gonna get right into it. Courtney will be joining us as well. So Flavius, what's happening in your neck of the woods?
Morning listeners, morning Franco, morning viewers. Well, where I am now is bright sunshine today. The cloud cover is lifted. And we are seeing bright sunshine. Like a nice little breeze coming across.
Oh.
And my Julie mango tree, I'm seeing many small mangoes on it. It's going to take a few weeks more for them to, come up.
Mm-hmm. So
they're looking very promising.
Things looking good.
Looking very promising.
That's good. That's good.
Yes.
I love to hear that.
Yes.
A sign of hope.
Yes. Oh yes.
Unless you wake up one morning when all of the mangoes on the tree and you don't see anything, somebody take them off.
Not likely.
Not likely. All right, I got Max Wanet here. Max, top of the morning, Max. How you doing?
Morning, Max.
Yeah, Grand Rising, my dear. What's happening in your neck of the woods? What's kissing me like this morning?
Kissing me is hot. It's hot. But the sun is shining, the weather is sweet.
It's a kissing me hot. Lord of mercy, kissing me hot.
Yes.
I hear you.
But it's beautiful, it's wonderful, and I have no complaints.
True.
Wonderful.
I'm glad.
Greetings, Grand Rising, everyone. Grand Rising flavors.
Yeah, morning.
I am so glad
Elsa. Looking very good.
Elsa is gone.
It
is gone?
Well, she just further up north.
Okay.
Further up north. So make sure stay up there, so. Let them stay up there.
Can travel.
Let them feel what we have been feeling down this side, and know say time for us to start take care of the earth as well, because heat wave was on in Canada, and people are burned up before it even hit. Are there any of you believe in climate change or global warming, whichever word you want to use?
Well,
no, you don't have to believe. It is there. You feel it every day. It's not something. Yeah, it is there every day, man. Every day it is there. And you look at it and say, when you used to go to school, they used to tell about June too soon, July stand by, September remember, October all over. But now, November and December, we have been storms same way.
But there are industrialists who will tell you otherwise, say a man made up story, a man do all of this. Right?
Well,
so
his man is doing it, but his man is causing the change by what them doing. I agree that.
Mm-hmm.
And a few years ago, when Margaret, whatever the name, passing through the Caribbean, and people, and a prime minister, I think Dominica or whatever, went to some UN thing, and he was saying the big countries are the ones that is causing all of that, and the small countries are the ones that pay for it.
Yep.
Because we don't have every motor and oil gases and all these things. Our atmosphere is almost pure, but what them do come down on us. Yeah.
Well, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's the same thing with wars. Old men start war and young men go off to war.
Well, you know what? Personally, I think, well, yes, we do a lot to damage the atmosphere, everything, nature, the land, the earth itself. So you cannot expect it's not going to retaliate. However, it's also man-made, controlled storms. I mean, how many people are paying attention to HAARP, where they're controlling the weather themselves? And when I mean them, y'all know who I'm talking about. So, I mean, there's a lot of things going on, but it's I wonder how much control we really have sometimes. It's makes you think.
But the people who are doing this are the same people who love the war, Same people then.
Oh, definitely.
Well, let them go and do them things, because we know after a while, things going to change. For everything there's a season and there's a reason. So season have no reason to change. Anyway, we're not going to play season, we're going to play Cherry Natural. This is a Cherry Natural song. I just love the beat. So we're going to hit some Cherry Natural this morning, and then we're going to, see if we can link up with our guests as soon as possible. So if you're just joining us, welcome to the Real Stuff Podcast. Flavius, Max Vanet, and myself. Flavius say yes. And Francine is out today. So we're going to hold the fort for you, Francine. Don't worry yourself, all right?
I thought you said Courtney was coming in.
Yeah, we haven't seen him yet, so Cherry Natural.
Okay.
Self-mastery. On the journey to self-mastery, travel light. Unpack the baggages of expectations, people-pleasing, and likes. In the temple of your soul, work out your own salvation. The past is gone, nothing to salivate on. Learn from it. This moment is all we have. In it bears the seed of hope. Make every minute count. Water its roots. Keep it interesting, investing what it has to contribute. Stand firm like sojourner in your own truth. Your own truth. You don't need a second opinion or no one's permission. You are your own muse. Reserve your energy. The more you make sense, the more you make enemies. The world is a fractured place. Broken humans holding on to thin air, balancing on a tightrope of despair, lacking social intelligence, consumer-driven society, manipulating the essence of your existence. Be your own apprentice, master yourself, confront the demons in your head, elevate your moral landscape. Get out of your self-imposed cage. Use the tools you came with to construct castles and cast spells. You are the architect of your own life, the alchemist. Your mind is a gold mine. Self-mastery is the highest calling. We become what we think. We become what we think. Thoughts are things. The source of our misery and happiness comes from within. Work on your weaknesses. Hone your talents and skills. Experiences are valuable gifts. Time works its own magic. It will convert your passion into profit. Eliminate the deadlines in your mind. There is no magic carpet. Climbing up the winding staircase of success, you need a firm grip. Take your hands out of your pocket. Life is not a Rubik's Cube. All the colors of your dreams won't fall into place with a few clicks. The universe is a university that loves to teach. What you don't learn, it repeats. Obstacles are tests. Your best teachers are your past mistakes. Be gentle with yourself. Life is not fair. Everybody won't like you. Nothing to be scared. They are not the reasons you're still breathing. Get over it. Who cares? Who cares?
Yes, indeed. The poetry of Cherry Natural. Yes, big things. We got Courtney with us this morning, and also the Gilkes brothers are here as well. So we're going to just go right into it. So I'm going to give you a piece of their bio, and then we can take it from there. So sit and stay with us. Don't go nowhere. Frank Gilkes is a poet, short story writer, film actor, pan-Africanist, and cultural activist. Frank has received several national awards for his writing over the years and is a regular at Poetry Readings. His work has been published in 2 major anthologies, from Rum Shop to Tenerife, 2001, Barbados, and Images of a Caribbean Dream, 1999, Trinidad and Tobago. Frank has also had poems published in regional literary magazine as BIM of Barbados and New Voices of Trinidad. He has done readings in Grenada, Trinidad, and St. Lucia, and was featured several times on Barbados television and radio stations. Frank has judged many local school poetry competition as well as talent shows across Barbados, and continues to lend support to the development of creative writing among young writers. A founding member of the Association of Literary Artists and the Barbados Creative Writers Guild, he helped to develop Rum Shop Poetry Readings, where poets would meet at various rum shops, mostly on a Saturday evenings, and read their work to the patrons there. These readings became very popular in the late 70s and throughout the 80s and the 90s. Frank considered himself a world citizen with St. Peter and Barbadian roots, and continued to lend support to the development of the arts in the North. Having played lead parts in a few short films and in 2 major feature-length films, the name Frank Gilkes is slowly become well known in the local film industry as a film actor. A strong advocate for Caribbean integration, Frank is always looking for ways in which he can promote Caribbean unity. Coral Antarrah M. Gilkes, National Independent Festival of Creative Arts, award-winning poet, visual artist, pan-Africanist, has been writing poetry since his high school days. He has read his work in Grenada in 1981, St. Lucia 2018, and throughout Barbados. His work has been published in the National Cultural Foundation magazine, Banja, and 2 volumes of poetry, Winds of Change with his brother Frank and Dr. Ian Boxill in 1983, and From Rumpus to Tenerife with his brother Frank and 2 other poets from the Parish of St. Peter's in 2000. Antarrah is a retired civil servant who now spends much of his time painting and writing poetry. The Real Stuff Podcast. Welcome the Gilkes brothers. Welcome, gentlemen. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Grand Rising.
Good morning.
I have with me this morning.
Good morning.
Courtney, that's the big voice there, Courtney.
Yes.
And then the young lady, Max Juanette, and Flavius in Jamaica. So since I have already read all that you guys have done, I think the thing that fascinates me is the Rum Shop. I want to start right there because I want to know about the Rum Shop reading. Yeah.
In Barbados,
The first study that the Rum Shop is like a bar.
I know, but I want them to tell me about it.
Right. Right. On Saturday afternoons, the Rum Shop was a very popular place to hang out. You know, after working for an entire week, from Monday to Friday, people unwind, you know, by going to the Rum Shop and hang out on Saturday, where in the afternoon they can get their pudding and sauce, and then they have their rum and their beers at the afternoon. So we decided that we wanted this poetry. We wanted people to be able to appreciate poetry in the trenches. We didn't want to keep poetry to be anything just intellectual. Our writing really was speaking to the ordinary man and woman in the street. And we decided that the best place we could probably do this is in the Rum Shops. And we started it, and it was very successful because we were appreciated much more than we had anticipated. You know, but it was really a very good effort, and it took off very well. And we went all around the country, from north to south, doing it. You know, yeah, there was a lot of poetry. There was plenty of rum too, but
I can imagine a lot of rum.
Yep. I think those afternoons also was very inspiring.
Yeah,
because you found that after those sessions, you had a spurt of inspiration, where you go home at night and you just write.
Okay, yeah.
Right, because people in Rum Shop also would tell stories. They would also tell certain stories. You know, they when they heard you poetry reading, and they realized that it sort of connect to them. They would relate stories of hardships, about loss of love, all these different things.
Recording in progress.
True. Because I remember as a youth growing up, I used to see the only dominoes playing Rum Shop or in the backyard at the Rum Shops, you know. Yeah, but that poetry thing, that's a good move, man. That's a good move.
I think that's brilliant. I'm
going to let Courtney go. We have Courtney to come in and ask some questions. Go ahead, Courtney.
Yeah, no, I really, that idea is really a brilliant idea, and, as you were talking about the response to the thing, but, one thing that is captivating my mind is when these patrons get drunk, are they still listening to your poetry and responding?
No, a lot of guys that used to get drunk, right?
I think they used to pause for the poetry reading. They'll probably hold a glass and have one shot of rum in it, and they would listen to the poetry. And after the poetry reading, the poets would also join them for libation.
All right, Max. Max, you go ahead, Max.
Well, again, it's beautiful to meet the both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm a little curious. I noticed in your bio that you said you judged school poetry competitions and that you're actually involved with the youths. And seeing that we're starting something here with the youths as well, what would you have to say to young writers coming up? What do you think are maybe a few key points to help them master that craft?
Well,
encouragement is one thing. Reading. If they would read, and you find that nowadays a lot of young people don't read. At least that is my experience in looking on. They don't read, especially other poets. Okay, well, Frank and I, we the first poets that we used to read were not even West Indian poets.
Right.
We came up here reading County Cullen, Langston Hughes,
right,
the Black American poets out of Ireland. Okay, and then we were introduced to our local writer, short story writer Timothy Callender, poet Bruce St. John. We all had the opportunity in the 1970s to attend workshops with both of those persons, Timothy Callender and Bruce St. John.
And then we met Campbell Braffett.
Right. Yeah, so meeting and encouraging people to read other poets. Read other poets.
Thank you for that. Beautiful. Flavors?
Yeah, well, first thing I would say is that we need to ask them, to join us on our Caribbean Youth Voices.
Stop it, I was getting there.
Obviously have the requisite experience, knowledge.
Yep.
So we will speak to you after this about that initiative. Because we're starting that in a couple of weeks. We're starting that.
The 20th.
But I'm also hoping to start back a series of readings in Barbados. Because we have been kind of hamstrung because of COVID. But I'm looking at once we get to a certain stage, I'm looking to start a series of readings like every last Saturday in the month. Okay. I'm still trying to find a location, and no, it won't be a Rum Shop this time.
Why not?
No, we're not, because we're looking to brainstorm young people. So I don't want to send the wrong message. So we're not going to do the Rum Shop. The Rum Shop thing was for them, and that have seen its time and past. Right. So I'm looking for a venue now where we will probably have some sponsorship from corporate Barbados, and let them provide refreshments or whatever. And we invite young writers, especially young upcoming writers, and we bring more experienced writers to do their readings, and invite to have an open mic session where you will have people who write just to come and read something, and that way introduce the writers now to being exposed. Because I find open mic sessions is something that works very well. Whenever you have a poetry reading, you always should have an open mic session where you invite members of the audience to share something that they have written. Because some people write and have an exercise book home put down, and they never share it with anybody. So we encourage people to share the stuff. They might not think it sound good enough or whatever, but as I said, poetry is your individual voice.
Exactly.
And it's your voice and your rhythm. So what you express is your view, your voice, your rhythm. You express it in your own rhythm, and therefore it is unique to you. So that's why I don't really too much like competitions in poetry, because I think that it's such an individual thing.
Thank you for that. Yes. I agree with you.
We agree with that. Yeah.
I agree with you completely. Yeah.
But I used to judge a poetry competition in the Parish Readings in St. Peter with schools some years ago. And one of the things that I noticed is that they used to give the children a topic to write on.
Right.
And all the children had to write on St. Peter at the parish. And it was and the poem started to sound like a tourist brochure. But how beautiful this part is, how beautiful the beach is, how beautiful this thing is. And it was like, no, I don't hear any anger, any rebellion, any disgust. I mean, these children must be experiencing and seeing things in the society that get them angry, that get them feeling a certain way. We need to hear what they're thinking.
Thank you.
Let them bring up that anger. Because if they don't bring up one way, they can bring up the other way.
That's right.
So I tell them, no, stop putting a theme on the poem. Just tell them, write the poem. And let's see what happens.
Yeah. Something that comes out of themselves. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Because some people be experiencing different things. Right.
Top of the morning, Francine. I see Francine here in the room. Welcome.
Okay.
Grand Rising, Francine.
Yeah, welcome, Francine.
Hi, good morning.
Morning. As we move on, I know everybody will be happy to hear something from both of you.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Because this is the Poetry Corner.
Yeah.
That's right.
Let me hear if Francine have any question for the brothers before they start. Go ahead, Francine.
All right, good morning.
Morning.
Good morning to you.
So I am here listening in, and it is so one of the things I am admiring is you are two brothers and you are interested in similar things. And usually they would say 7 brothers, 7 different minds. No, I want to know which one of you first started out on this journey. Who is the bravest of the two?
I think he is perhaps the bravest. But however, we started out writing around the same time. And we didn't start with poetry. We actually started writing monologues in Bajan dialect or native language. And Frank would perform them at school. That is where we started, writing monologues. Okay? Right. And then gradually it moved into, we experimented with writing plays. Okay. Both of us are also artists, although I'm more active in the visual arts than he is at this time. But it gradually moved into poetry. And then in the 1970s, we were fortunate to attend a workshop at Yarba Foundation, which was a cultural institution in Barbados that was formed by the Elambe Motley. And it was there that we met the late Timothy Callender, well-known Barbadian short story writer and poet, and the late Bruce St. John, who was very prolific in nation language poetry. And it was from then that we started really to get involved seriously in writing poetry from the 1970s.
Very good. So
we had we're associated with a group called Youth Creative Expressions, which was a group performing arts group, dance, drumming, drama, poetry. Then we had Black Circle, which was myself, Frank, and 2 other guys performing rhythm poetry. And we slowly moved away from that into something a little different, which is not so much rhythm poetry now. Right. It is more free verse sort of poetry. But we started writing basically together.
Yeah. Very good. So now that you have stated all of it,
I started performing first.
Rearing.
Yeah, I started performing first because I started performing at school. Yeah, so sometimes I will perform. Sometimes I will perform some of his stuff as well.
Okay. Nice.
Okay. All right. So now that you have the platform for yourself, this morning is your morning. So we're gonna sit back, relax, and enjoy while you take it away.
I'm gonna do 2 pieces for you now. The first one is called Caribbean Man, and the other one is called this one won a bronze award at our Independence Festival, and it's called Globalization. So I'll do Caribbean Man first. I am Caribbean man. I am Black Caribbean man, survivor of the Middle Passage, slavery, political sacrilege, and the Federation experiment. I am Caribbean man, trodden down, trenched down with the Rasta brethren, dancing to the heartbeat of Africa's children, listening to the soca rhythms and the steel pan vibes, sipping the herbs of the land. I am Caribbean man. I am Caribbean man with cane blade and banana in my hand, seeping oil through my veins, washed clean by the August rains. I am Caribbean man. I am Caribbean man, liming on the block, taking stock of all that divide to make Caribbean man fall. I am Caribbean man, rising from the Caribbean Sea to build this Caribbean nation, ending all division, bringing full unification. I am Caribbean man. I am Caribbean man, playing mass in crop over Carnival band, round Savannah, on Grenada Highway or in Vinceland. I am standing firm, this Caribbean man, this strong Black Caribbean man, with one flag, one pledge, one anthem. Feel the rhythm beaten across the region. Caribbean man, united, one nation.
Wow.
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 Inspiring.
Wow. I love that. I love that.
Caribbean man.
Caribbean man.
That's powerful. Yeah.
And the other one
That
is
is what
the NIFCA
that is where
award.
I am.
Yeah.
You can't just drop that hat like that and don't give us a second to salivate.
Okay.
Beautiful. Go right ahead.
This was the NIFCA award winner called Globalization. It won a bronze award at NIFCA, which is the National Independence Festival of Creative Arts in Barbados. It's held every November. And this one won a bronze in 2009. We came through the passage of time, bruised by the whip, spewed from the belly of slave ship, washed in oceans of shit, fostered by a bitch. The block was our pedestal. Now we sit on the block, hissing at passing sisters, gossiping, whispering, snickering, wondering as we sit if too big is a fit. We came through the passage of time, sifting sands, listening to plans to raise our standard of thinking, of living in this new globalized village, free market of economic chaos. We, the survivors of the Middle Passage, lost within waves of stained cotton sheets, tinged with the juices of our consummation, wrestling beneath the impact of a new order, world order, while monologues to a vagina makes me wonder if the trip was a passage of rights, if time would erase memories, if life is a slave ship and we are still sailing, navigating ports of the unknown. We came through the passage of time, backs bent to the chop of sugarcane, sucking bitters from molasses, brain numb from rum, a global monsoon washing the blood of Africa into the triangle to mingle with Atlantic saltwater, becoming desalinated, fighting to quench our thirst. We came through the passage of time, navigating between politics of exclusion and inclusion to the conclusion that the passage long, winding and dark now mark the beginning of a new journey, a new passage into time, a new beginning.
Wow, excellent.
You left us speechless.
Hey, Max, you hear them mention the vagina monologue? Remember, I keep telling you about that.
Miami!
I also mentioned the molasses, So you can imagine them two words there together. My God.
Molasses.
Now see, that's a whole other topic of
molasses and vagina monologue. Yes. Yeah. Two powerful words, yes, and them good.
Yeah.
That's
the thing about it that when we first started, these are things that was in our brain.
Yeah.
But you were not bold enough to write certain things when you're younger. But as you got into it and you got more mature, it got easier. Because then you listen to other writers and you say, well, these guys bold. So if they're bold, we could be bold too.
That's right.
And and once
you're the brave one.
Yeah.
I want to ask a question because I'm still fascinated by the Rum Shop reading, and the reason why. The reason why, because I'm looking at it, I'm visualizing it, because these brothers have been they went around the country doing it, So I always say that an artist should always tour his country from every cribbies and every corner before going international. Because in that way, once you build that market, you will always have your crowd. You understand me? So I was thinking that if that could be something that we know we can't use it to get the youths then, but we could do something similar like that.
Yeah, because as a matter of fact, what I can say is this: our National Cultural Foundation, which is the government agency in Barbados for promoting culture and so on, they adopted the same concept, but they did not use rum shops. But they had what we call Parish Readings.
Okay.
because this is a national organization. So what they did is that they would actually pay one of the poets, and I got 2 sessions with them already. They gave me the 2 sessions, and they used to actually give you an honorarium.
Okay.
To read your go to a parish and be the featured reader, and then they will have open mic for people to sign up to read their own work after. So like I had the featured reader, the NCF will contact me and they will tell me, well, they want me to be featured reader at this parish, and they give me an honorarium of X amount, and I have 15 minutes to read my poetry, and then I have a 15-minute session to interact with the audience.
That's good. That's good. That's a good move.
Yeah, so, and they had that done all around the country as well. So I was part of that as well because, as I said, we started the Rum Shop thing, and the idea came from that.
Beautiful,
so,
wonderful.
We had an opportunity to do that as well.
Yeah.
So it don't have to be a Rum Shop. It could be a school. It could be a community center. You know, even a church.
Yeah.
We have read in churches already.
All right.
You understand? We read some very I would say very rebellious poems in the Anglican Church in Barbados, of all places. And as a matter of fact, Sunday evening, I am scheduled to do a reading at a book launch. Our historian, Vice Chancellor of the University of West Indies, Sir Henry Beckles, is launching a book in Barbados, and he's launching it in St. Peter at the Parish Church. And I have been commissioned to read a poem at that book launch on Sunday evening at 4:00. And that's going to be streamed on UETV, on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that is well, it's you know, there's financial benefit because of the artists. They ask me, you know, how much it will cost to do this. That's why I send them an invoice, and they accept my charge, and they say okay. So I am on the program to be part of that. Yeah.
Wonderful, yes.
I suppose.
Yeah.
Let's hear some more.
Yeah.
Let's hear some more.
Yes, I want more. Yes.
Yeah, I suppose.
That's one thing. One thing before you go, I just like to interject. I just want to say this.
The first one is called the Paro. The Paro is a guy who is hooked on drugs, and he's like a vagrant. Okay. Take a minute and walk in my shoes. You see me sitting here? I'm not mindless of where I am, of the burnt bridges I left behind, the disjointed faces and voices from the past, constantly calling me by name, the fragmented dreams, the rock that reaches my nostrils on this pavement, poverty and pain quakes in every bone. There's a female demon seething white foam through my veins. Her craving to control me leaves me empty and wanting, shaded from the blistering heat and the rain neath this rotted overhang, accustomed now to the blank stares of all who pass me by, unfeeling in their contempt. These tired feet crack from too many miles of begging, of not bathing, walking spike-stone pissy alleyways, making bed in out of the way places. Hungry stomach forcing arthritic fingers to search discarded fast food boxes and rat-raided bins. You avert your eyes and turn up your nose when you pass. Ignore my plea for a few coins. Hawk and spit with vulgar disdain in my direction. Now that I score the gutter for your thrown off items and pet bottles, I am nobody. Take a minute and walk in my shoes. I see you pass all dressed up on bombast, gold and silver bling, looking prim and proper. You don't see the puddle on the side of the road, the splash that gonna drown that stranger. Raw soul, man, shift your car from the pothole. You complain daily about the taxes and high food prices. The mythomaniac prostitutes in three-piece suits who catch at your walk with nice smile and sugarcake words, then left you like how smoke left fire on the wind, no look back. I've been there too. That's how my fall began. I took too many 6s for a 9, cut my cloth too big for my trousers, but I never complained. I didn't mind. I got swell-headed the higher the ladder I climbed, but the dizzy-headedness of that stratosphere nearly sent me crazy. I was on cloud 9 till I found myself slipping slowly, well, not so slowly, back to ground and hit rock bottom, where you see me now. Empty with nothing, not even this breath I breathe is mine. Where I been, I wouldn't want to go there again. But it's hard to balance life somewhere in that nebulous space between. So ignore me when you pass. Shun me now. Don't look my way, cause you might be my companion one day.
I love that.
Wow.
Oh, that's a good one.
The other one is, what does independence mean?
What one second, if I may interrupt. I think Courtney was trying to say something. Court?
Yes, I'm right here. Okay, you know what I wanted to say about the two previous poems. It just remind me. It took me back right into the 70s. Where there was this level of black consciousness. That was happening around the Caribbean and in North America. And I was just saying those pieces are wonderful. As teaching tools. Because I think more people should be exposed to this type of poetry. Because we notice, like, poets nowadays, they are talking about things that are not, reflective of the struggle that we have gone through. And that's what I really love about those pieces, taking us back from the days of slavery through the Middle Passages, coming down and, till we are into the Caribbean. And the Caribbean experience also, included in all of this. Great work, guys. Great work.
Right. Beautiful. What does independence mean? What does independence mean to you? Flag, national anthem, coat of arms, and pledge? What does independence mean to you? Is it these symbols of state, of status, or the misplaced glorification of bloodstained institutions steeped in a criminal tradition of rape and plunder? Or is it stale communion bread and decaying fish fed from the pulpits to the poor? What does independence mean to you? Who crafted and defined this new status and made us the mimic men in this tragic affair? Fixed characters in a recurring drama of cockfights in a tainted capitalist democracy. A tropical Caribbean experiment imitated Westminster, mocked on Pope from London, fucked from Washington through phallic Florida. What does independence mean to you? Is it the image you see when you gaze into the mirror? The poverty of the piss poor or the vagrant that invites disdain? Or the prophet and the apostle of dubious title preaching a prosperity gospel? In a system constructed to masturbate the poor with promises of orgasm in heaven? What is independence? When every morsel of food we eat has to be imported, or the land don't belong to me anymore.
Wow.
Wow.
That is true.
Valid, very valid.
Awesome.
Wow. All right. Who's next?
after he, I can cool it down with one called The Fisherman.
All right.
This poem is it's actually the first poem that I actually mixed. I actually blended my involvement in the film industry because they actually did a video with this poem called The Fisherman, which is on YouTube. Yeah.
Fran?
Yeah.
Before you start, is there anyone that both of you did together, like a collab? Do you have any that both of you did together?
No.
Really?
Okay.
No.
Something to think about.
Yes, it's correct.
Here you go.
Correct. But this one, as I said, we grew up in a fishing village, and our uncles and so on were fishermen.
Right.
So fishing and the sea. In fact, we were born less than 100 yards from the sea. The sea was our backyard. So we grew up in a fishing village, and that's the kind of culture we grew up in. So I wrote this one for, we had a Fisherman's Day celebration, and this is one I wrote some years ago. And as I say, it's available on a video on YouTube on the Board House TV. I grew up watching the fishermen go off to sea in the wee hours of the morning, rowing those Moses out into the deep blue to launch Better and Lister, crank those engines and set course for flying fish ground or hunting dolphin to sell by the pound. I will run all the way from school to raw fishy crates of daily flying fish, the sunburnt, crusty hand fishermen offering their daily catch for sale, to the flicker of scale and offal, the stringent fumes of diesel and salt water burning the memory of my nostrils. I grew up with fishermen, seeing them relax after a hard day, listening to their rhythmic cursing voices, telling tales of adventures at sea and the vast ocean that even now seems to beckon me. I grew up with sea spray in my eyes and the cries of hawkers bellowing against the backdrop of fish cloud draped skies. The evening's setting sun was a fisherman's friend, an arduous day of salt splash fag now brought to the end. The cycle will continue between fish and men. When I watch crimson sunsets off Six Men's coastline at the end of day, I can't help remembering fishermen lost at sea, like Sylvan and Piquet. I can't help remembering the flying fish gone from our bay, elusive as a nocturnal thief, doing their silvery dance now at Boko Reef. I still watch the fishermen each chance I get, going down to the sea and listen to the sound of the conch shell. Fish, fish, catch of the day. I still watch those fishermen at Six Men's Bay.
I love it. I love it.
I think all fishermen would love that.
Yeah.
My grandfather was a fisherman.
I'm a lover of fish.
Yes, I mean, I really relate to that. That's beautiful.
That was because as I said, that influence of the sea and the fish. As a matter of fact, we are now planning audiobook. We're planning to do record audiobook. I'm still waiting on because the government here is offering grants to do certain creative works.
Mm-hmm.
So I applied for a grant to do this audiobook. And once I get the grant approved, we will produce this audiobook, which will contain that one will be included. And it will be available online. And it's also we'll have videos going with it as well. Right? Right. This audiobook will be titled Seawater and Sand.
Okay. Well, you have to make sure that we get the links for that.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
For sure. But all the videos, because I'm involved, as I said, I'm involved with the film industry, and I try to do a lot of portrait videos. Mm-hmm. And I just did two on the thing, and they are available on our YouTube channel.
Oh.
Our YouTube channel is Board House TV.
Repeat that again for me.
Board House TV.
Board House.
TV.
Okay.
Board House TV.
TV.
Got it.
Yeah. Yeah, Frank.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just talk a little bit about Rebellion song.
Rebellion song.
Right?
That's one.
Yeah.
That's the one that I read tomorrow as well. Yeah.
Okay.
That's the one I read tomorrow.
Yeah, because okay. Yeah, because I know I was just looking up something on YouTube and just saw it, Rebellion song, 1675 Slave Rebellion, poetry video.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. The book that Sir Hillary is launching tomorrow is actually a book about that rebellion. So that's why I get the opportunity to read that. Actually, the video was produced. To be part of that book launch as well. but it would have been more costly to show the video because then I would go pay all the actors and so on. So it's cheaper for me to read. It's cheaper for me to read the poem because if I had to show the video, they can pay for it. You know, but the video, we made the video available free on our YouTube channel because all the actors and things involved actually donated their services. You know, I didn't have to pay anybody. So hopefully going forward when we get other projects, I'll be able to pay them or sort of reimburse them for their generosity and come in and give me their time and talent freely. But everybody felt very passionate about that one Rebellion song and about the video that we did. As a matter of fact, out of the video now, we are producing a movie with the same name, Rebellion song, which will be a slave. Firstly, a movie produced in Barbados, and it will actually be centered around that same rebellion.
That's what you're working on currently?
Yeah.
Oh, I was just going to ask you about that because I see that you've been in film and acting. So I was just wondering what is new that you're coming out with now. So that's beautiful.
Yeah, we have a showing, we have a film a showing actually a screening at the University of West Indies coming out on the 23rd of this month of a short film, and the same short film, some videos, the Fisherman and the Rebellion song will be shown at that screening as well. But it's also a short film which is about 23 minutes long that we did called The Visitors, which is a sci-fi film, which I am one of the main actors in it. Actually, there are only two actors in it. There are two actors in it, but it's very heavy. It's very heavy on special effects. So you will see another actor, but the other actor is not real. The other actor is not real.
It's like a hologram kind of thing.
Yeah, because it's dealing with alien being, an alien.
Okay.
It's a sci-fi. It's a sci-fi.
Sci-fi. Nice. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah, and but it was actually a 7-day film challenge. It was a 7-day film challenge by the National Cultural Foundation, and they give 4 categories, and each category, if you won the category, you win $5,000. But I don't have to tell that we won that category.
Of course. No doubt.
We won that one. And I think it was one of my most challenging acting parts so far.
Right.
I played a grandfather who was slightly demented.
I have a question for both of you, right? And I've listened to Franco listing a few awards that you have received, and I'm just wondering, is there an award that you have not received as yet still you are still aiming to receive it? Any of the two?
The award.
Oh, you have got the call.
Award, no. Well, every year there's the NIFCA, which is the National Independence Festival of Creative Arts, and they give out awards in gold, silver, and bronze. But we were involved in NIFCA from the beginning. NIFCA started in 1975.
Okay.
Right. My first NIFCA award actually was when I was at school in 1975, and I won that for a poem called Slave Cry.
So that's the highest. What's the highest you have ever received?
The highest I ever received was a distinction award.
Okay.
Same NIFCA, right? And I won that distinction award for a short story I wrote called Wilma's Baby.
Okay.
I wrote that story when I was about 18 years old, and the story was about a woman who went through postnatal depression, and I knew nothing about postnatal depression at that time.
Postpartum, right?
Right. I never knew that. Then after reading the story years ago, then I realized what it was. But we are actually looking to make a film on that as well.
Really?
Yeah.
That would be very interesting.
Yeah, because it's called Wilma's Baby, and it's actually she committed suicide, killed the baby, and committed suicide. Right.
Wow.
Right.
This is good because people don't stop to really think about what you know, and it goes into it's a mental thing that's going, mental illness, but due to what's going on in the body. So that, you know, that's very deep that you're touching that, because people do not discuss these topics enough. With postpartum depression, you have menopause, andropause, which is for men. I mean,
but actually, what we do, because we have a young lady who direct most of our films, and she was very keen when we share about that. Because actually what we do is, even now, even although we might do a sci-fi film, we also try to include some sort of thing about mental stability and so on. That's why I told you the sci-fi one that we did is about the old man who was just state of depression. And because of this, he's experiencing this virus thing as well. Because they gave us the criteria for the film. They said it had to be about, the background had to be about a virus, had about COVID. It had to include a charnel house, a phone call, and a mask. So we had to come up with a story and develop a film in 7 days. And we did it, and we won the award. We won it. Right?
Okay, Frank and Antarrah, before we get back to more poetry, I am looking at something that, like you have a full film documentary entitled 6 Men or Fishing Village.
Yes. Yeah.
Can you just talk just a little bit on that for me, please?
That documentary also was, my brother was the concept behind that, first of all.
That is actually based on something that I was writing for many years about growing up in 6 Men. Growing up in a small fishing village, the kind of experiences that we had persons, you know. And last year, the Prime Minister had designated that year gathering, inviting people from overseas regions to come back to Barbados. But then COVID came in and put a damper on the whole thing. So there are only two parishes actually got the opportunity to have a big thing about the gathering, which was St. Lucie, which is the northernmost parish, and St. Peter. And for the St. Peter activity, we did this documentary, 6 Men of Fishing Village, based on what I was writing. We interviewed a number of persons who live in the area, and we told some stories about what 6 Men was like. Made mention of guys who went to sea and never came back, and so on. It was well received.
I bet. Wow. So, who's going to titillate our ears next?
This poem is actually written as a tribute to the late poet laureate of St. Lucia, Derek Walker. I wrote this a couple of days after hearing about his death. Tonight, tears will flow like river water down Helen's dark cheekbones. Salted tides will cover Rat Island. All music and dancing will cease. And Macaque, awakened from dreaming on Monkey Mountain, will skip across the island chain from the land of wood and water to mainland Guyana, reciting obituary in patois. Helen's belly will be tied in knots. She'll wail with the wind as it passes through the trees on Mount Jimmy and refuse to believe the news. The wrenching pain deep in her gut will erupt from sulfurous soufriere to Pigeon's Point. Her piton ticks will heave with every piercing cry, and she'll hug her stomach, bent over, contorted and moan, cause the pain will darken her vision of tomorrow. And these white-crested waves, now caressing her eastern shoreline from the bird sanctuary of windswept Maria Island to Dennery's hidden coves and rugged cliffs, to isolated Cap Point, will not soothe the southern weakness in her bones. Tonight, the river that runs through Marchand will burst its murky banks, uprooting trees, removing garbage and debris. That dead dog half buried in the neighbor's open backyard, its dark, cold water with flood-capped trees. These interlocking streets, black asphalt, angled off the John Compton Highway, will sink below the surging tide of sorrow, and basilica bells will toll loud out across town from Brazil Street to the pristine alleys of Maynard Hill, and all the way to Grosile, and sleepy vagrants squatting on Parliament's cold pavement, huddled in cardboard shelter, will quietly celebrate in requiem silence the life and passing of this noble Caribbean poet.
Wow.
That was touchingly deep.
Let me ask a question before we leave. Let me ask a question. Is there such a thing as like a, like in the US here, they have like comic shops, which, is comedians go there and, do shows. Do you have a, like say, a poetry shop where you guys would, go there and, do poetry?
No.
Not right now.
Not right now.
Nothing.
Really?
Nothing now. Okay.
That for brief times, I've been to one in St. Lucia. Yeah, for brief times I had it in St. Lucia, and I think it closed down. But you will get one or two stand-up comics in Barbados doing shows at certain bars.
Okay.
You understand? But it's not a really popular thing right now.
Maybe after post-COVID, right?
Maybe. Because I tell one of the guys who worked with me in film, he's a very prolific comedian. Actor, very good actor, he's an acting coach. But he's serving as acting coach on our productions right now. He's also written a Bajan movie, which he asked me to be a part of. So that's something I'm looking forward to doing as well.
Okay.
It's centered around Domino Game by Rum Shop. The movie centered around Domino Game. So that should be interesting. It's called a Bajan movie. Yeah.
Wow. All right.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure just knowing the two of you and speaking with you and just hearing everything that you've done and you're doing. And again, we're doing Caribbean Youth Voices on July 20th. And we have to have you, both of you. We have to. It's a must. Because you have so much to give the youths. It's just, you two are like a treasure find for me,
Hidden gems.
Hidden gems.
We dig up for the seashore, but it's good because over the years, as I always tell my colleagues that poems, they say it's in everyone's bone, but I don't see it in my bones. I've been searching for it, but I know it's maybe deep down there. I'm beginning, as I said, I'm beginning to love it more and more, and each week, Courtney and the team surprise me more and more, so I'm now seasoning to it. It's marinated in my bones right now, so I'm appreciative of poetry, to a heights that I am thinking I might start something similar like Rum Shop, because I love that. I mean, I always fascinate over jazz.
Or the vagina monologues too.
Yeah, and I like those open mic thing, the vagina monologue, and now you have to throw the Rum Shop. I want to have all three in one.
Every two things that you remember about this interview. It is Rum Shop reading.
Rum Shop. Yeah. Hey, when I saw it in the bio, I said I have to check this one because I know about dominoes play inside the bars and in the backyard of the bar, but no poetry, and this one is a bombshell. It's a bombshell.
Yeah, Franco, I know that does take you back to the days of jazz art.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. I want to put all three on a one because I say I'm going to have a jazz art one day, and I want vagina monologue to be there.
I can see it right now.
And the Rum Shop
with molasses being poured as you're walking.
And the Rum Shop. Correct. So I'm going to make it be like a Rum Shop. Poet have to come and do them things, because it's really something where I know, say, it sound like it's off the wall, but trust me, it grab people, you know, because it's different. You know,
we used to get good audience, really.
Oh
I
yeah.
the guys will pause on drinking and listen to the poetry, and then when the poetry is finished, we all go and join them.
Exactly. That's good. That's good.
and they ask the questions and they talk, you know.
Yeah.
That was good.
So
sometimes you see these guys and you think, well, these guys are in shop drinking, and you don't think that they have any, you know, that they would think about anything intellectually.
Mm-hmm.
Actually they do.
True. Yeah, it's real. So Courtney, we want you to give the closing remarks for us this morning.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's, you know, just to let you know, it's a surely a pleasure to have both of you on the show. I mean, it was amazing, excellent. I can't even find any more adjectives to describe it, but it was such a wonderful show, you know, and for me, and I know for the listeners also, that we have learned a lot, you know, and for me to again, it took me back into my days as a young man, you know, really, you know, adhering to the whole Black consciousness movement, you know, really listening to every word that an elder would say about, you know, what took place, you know, in slavery, how we got here, you know, learning, you know, even our own history and other Caribbean history. And surely you have exposed a whole lot today, and we thank, you know, the Real Stuff podcast team. Thank you very much, and hope that we'll have more collaborations together in the future. Yeah. And as Max had said, you know, you are invited for our Caribbean youth voices that we are going to start up in July 20th. So again, we thank you.
Thank you.
We're looking forward to that. Definitely.
Well, this one is a bombshell.
Oh, before you gentlemen go, I want to ask Antarrah. Yeah. That's I pronounced the name right? Antarrah?
Yes.
What is the meaning of your name, sir?
Well, I don't know what's the meaning of it, but I'll tell you this.
Yeah.
When I started writing poetry, it was in the 70s, and everybody was adopting an African name.
Okay.
And I came across this name, Antarrah, who was a pre-Islamic warrior.
Okay.
Wow.
He's a very famous pre-Islamic poet also, African poet.
Mm-hmm.
You can Google him, Antarrah.
Okay, I'm going to.
And I said, you know something? I like that name. And it stuck so much that most people know me as Antarrah, and not as Karen.
Okay. Yes. I love
Great story.
I love the name. I say I go have to ask you, you know, what's the meaning of your name? You know, it's a pleasure having you, Antarrah and Frank.
Antarrah was known as an impassioned lover, warrior, and poet.
All right.
So I don't know if that has anything to do with the
name. All right, brothers. We thank you, and we ask you to stay safe. And we're gonna link up soon. We're gonna link up in the blood, in the flesh, because guess what? All of this pandemic soon pass. You understand me?
Yeah.
And the Caribbean going to be one fun base again.
Yep.
That's right.
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much, guys.
So much.
Have a good day.
Yeah.
You too.
Bless you.
Self-mastery. On the journey to self-mastery.
Yes, my crew. Before we get out of here, Max is here, Flavius is here, Courtney is here, and Francine, she had to run because she's on the job. So, you know, our apologies for those who were expecting Francine to finish off this morning with us. You know, we have to catch her when she's up on the fly, you know, so she's up on the slave. So we give her enough respect, enough thanks for joining us this morning. And we thank the Gilkes brothers for being our guests on the Poetry Corner. We thank our poetry team, Courtney and Max Wanette, and Flavius for their wonderful work. You know, surprise me some more, guys. Surprise me. White Tunnel. So before we get out of here, we're gonna ask each of you, to just give me 30 seconds. 30 seconds, Flavius, you go.
Yeah, this man was really, really, really nice, And it just shows that we have some very, very powerful poets in the Caribbean. And as we unearth them, we'll bring them forth to our listeners. Because the Caribbean is one place, and you can see when they write the poem, they write about the Caribbean, which I love so much, Not the little corner, but the whole Caribbean. And I think that is great. Every day we will find new people, we make new friends, and we get more people working with us, helping us. I think that is really, really tremendous.
All right, Courtney.
Yes, I am still having goosebumps. It was such a wonderful experience for me today, and I hope our listeners really enjoyed it. And in the future, as Flavius just mentioned, we are trying to find people, unearth these people out in the Caribbean who are poets and are creatives, and that we can bring them to this platform and to this forum, that our people can be educated, entertained, and take another level, because we're so much lacking in the culture in the Caribbean and in Africa and amongst the diaspora. So this is one of the things I think bringing back the culture, letting people have a appreciation for culture, is one of my objectives on this, working with these poets. So with that, all of that said, I know I've, gone over my 30 seconds, but, this was a wonderful day and a wonderful show. Thank you.
Yes, Max.
Quite all right, Courtney. Quite all right. You all have said everything. What more can I add to this? But this was a beautiful experience for me, and to have these kings here, and to have them share culture. It's needing, it's lacking. I was sitting here hungry, thirsting, and I went into the poem with him, especially the Fisherman. And it's important. We need this. We need this to keep. That's the glue to who we are as a people. So the poets are the voices, and it's beautiful. And I thank them. And I want to remind everybody, remember, we're all in this thing called life together. Namaste and one love.
And you also have something to share.
I have something to share?
Ansley.
Oh, my dear, I sure do. I didn't know it was that time.
Yeah.
Okay, give me 1 second, if you please.
Sure, I'll give you all the time.
I have the daily inspiration. Appreciate, acknowledge, the breath sustains all. Breathe gratitude deeply into the innovative mindset, the universal creativity that embraces the solution path. Breathe deeply.
I know it was meant for you to read, not for me.
You read it.
As Francine said, she wants to apologize. So apologize for her leaving early. So she said to drop this one for her.
Well, this one is a bombshell.
Need I say no more? So until next week when we do it all over again, we ask you that you join us when we do it the way you want us to do it. And so when you travel this weekend, wherever you're going, whether it's near or far, make sure you drive, drink, whatever you do responsibly. And think of your neighbor as yourself, all right? Whatever you do unto your neighbor, remember, you wouldn't like no one do it unto you. So respect your neighbor as well. And so we ask Queen Lubafu to say the Our Father in the Garifuna language. And Tafina to take us out.
Yuli leader sung fula. You belong far away away. Ajuguala lebo buseru. Leader mua, leader sung fula. Leader mua, leader sung fula.
Well, unfortunately, this is it. Till next time. Bless.
All you gotta do is just speak. One word is enough, and I'm no longer so rough. I forget what I was trying to say. I no longer do what I was gonna do, but you're no good for me. That's why me know I said me if it could flee. Me have to take away myself. Me have to take away myself. Me have to hide like a thief in the night. Me have to get out aside. Me have to take away myself. I have to take away myself. I have to utilize I wings. Show the eye cleave where I ease. I said, yeah, I find you very hard to resist. With this relationship I'm gonna desist. But how can I face you when all I wanna do is just taste you? I know you think I play me, but soon you're gonna see
Well, unfortunately, this is it. Till next time. Bless.
Don't move an inch, I'll be gone in a pinch. May I feel take away myself. May I